Hi guys, welcome. Dave Pinson here. Moving to the Philippines. Housing, that's important. You have to have a place to live, right? So I'm going to tell you my what I did and my history, and then I'm going to tell you some other options that I know about. Okay, first of all, here's what we did. So we lived in the USA, my wife and my Filipina wife and I, for 14 years. And as we're moving to the US, we decided we're going to build a house. We sold our house in California. We're going to build our house. We're also going to build another building, which I'll talk to that in a minute. So we decided to build a house. So we needed someone to build a house because I don't know how to build a house. I'm not that. Those are not my skill sets. That's not my history. I'm a retired teacher. So we did know some people here, though, a family. My wife's got tons of family in a couple different areas here on the island of Mindanao. So there are also some church people. So we knew this guy from church. He's an engineer. They call him engineer. He's a civil engineer. He works for the highway department here in Ingo City. Smart guy, good guy. So we got a couple of different contractors from him who we recommended, and we settled on one, and we got this thing going. We had somebody here, family, who helped with all the paperwork. We sent her a power of attorney, so she was able to get everything started. So we started the project right here, this house right here. It's a beautiful house, beautiful house. So we got the contractor. We have a step contract where we pay him as we go, pay as you go, and that way everybody's happy. So we had a finish date supposedly in August, right? So in August the house is going to be done, and it will be August of 23, 24, 25, August of 22. Anyway, a few years ago, it'll be 3 years come this August that we've been here. So we had everything planned out. We're gonna leave. We're gonna leave U.S. in August. We're gonna come here. What if it takes a few extra weeks? Okay, we'll give them a month. We'll go stay in the city where her family's from, the Cagayan de Oro. We'll stay there. We'll stay in a condo. So they have all these condos. They have these high rises that are condos. So you can rent a condo for used to be 20 some bucks. Now it's 30 some bucks a day. You can rent a condo and they're decent. They are nice. So there's little studio apartment types. They have a nice TV. They have pretty much all the amenities. Not far from shopping. Everything you need right there in the city. Plus her family. So good time. We're gonna stay there for about a month. We figure a couple weeks, maybe a month. 4 months later, we moved into the house. So what do we find out? We found out that there's a thing called Philippine time. It's very, very famous here. One of the things you get used to, and when you move to the Philippines, it's not the U.S. You have to get used to things not happening very fast. Like for example, they say don't try to do like in the U.S. You might try to do 5, 6 things in a day with you have your to-do list. In the Philippines, if you have one thing, if you get 2 things done, you're like, oh, that was amazing. One day we got 3 things done. I just about was beside myself because everything takes a long time. So to the contractors, to his credit, he's a Filipino, and this was Philippine time, and it wasn't just him. There's a lot of issues that came in, so we finally got in the house 4 months late. But it's a beautiful house. He gave us some extras because he wanted us to brag about him. He gave us these cove ceilings. See how nice that is. He gave us overhead fans. You know, I should have got solar. Couldn't afford it. I didn't. Hang on. Hang on. I didn't think this thing out very well. I just figured I'll do solar later. It's very expensive. I didn't have enough money, and now I don't have enough money. Now I'm trying to save up to get solar because um, one thing we had to do, we had to buy a generator because our first day here, the power went out, and it was out for a day, 2 days. So there's a lot of brownout. They call them brownouts here. It's more like a blackout, to be honest with you. But it's very common here. I mean, sometimes if you go a whole week with the power on, that's like a miracle, right? We've already had three this in 2 days. We've had 3 brownouts here. So we had to get a generator because I couldn't afford a solar. So we got a generator. Anyway, that's like a side issue, sort of. We'll get into electricity one day in one of our videos. So we got a generator. We built the house. We're all good to go. We got a well. We got a nice deep well here. We got 4 filters. The wife filter the water. We still buy filtered water to drink, and it's fine. So we have a place to live. So that's what we did, right? we'll get into the second part of that. Oh, let's just do it now, so I can keep everything organized. So then this contractor is going to build us a ministry house. Now I'm not going to. This is not a ministry website, so I'm not. I have another website, Philippine Bible Ministry, but I'm not promoting it here. Although I did just say the name. Don't worry about that. I'm just here talking about moving to the Philippines. But we trusted this guy at this point, so we started building this building down here, and we got the walls up. We got the wall, the outside wall. Like you have to protect yourself here. So by the way, we had to. I did a video on thievery. We had to build a big wall around their house. You have to do it here. You have to do it if you have anything of value in on your property. So anyway, so, and then because of the COVID, I don't know if you remember the time, like right after the COVID, where everything was going up and up in price. So all the materials were going up, and he already had a contract price. So in order to keep the contract price, he says, I need all the money so I can go ahead and get all the materials now and get them ahead of time so we don't lose money because we're going to lose money. So I did, and I trusted him at this point, which was 6 months later. Everything stopped. So since then, the building's been very slow. So that's another issue. It's hard to find good contractors here. Even this guy has built so many projects around between here and up in the mountains, going to everywhere. He's got so many nice buildings and he has a really good reputation. But look what happened. So be very careful. That there are contractors who it's been well known to take your money and run. They just take all your money. So make sure you don't pay them all your money. Just pay a little bit at a time. Don't pay till the job's done. They will take all your money. There's cases where people have taken $50,000, $70,000 and just disappeared because that's a lifetime's worth of money for them, for sure. Um, there's also cases where people will say that they can do stuff and they're really not contractors, and they say, well, they know how to do this. They built this and that. They're a carpenter, and they don't know how to do it. So they'll build something, and then it'll tilt or fall down or. So be very careful that you find credible people. Be sure. Hopefully, you have family in the Philippines or somebody you can trust that will know somebody that knows somebody, and you get some good references, right? Right. So just be careful if you're going to build something here. So that's our story of building a house here. Now, are there other options? Yeah, there's other options. First of all, I told you we stayed in a condo. You can buy a condo in the city. If you're going to be in the city and you want to live in the city, you can buy a condo in the city. You know, first thing you have to decide if you're going to live in the Philippines, you're going to live in the city or the country, right? Now, the city is convenient. Everything's there. You got tons of shopping. You can get anything in the city. You can just take a cab for $2. You can go anywhere in the city, or it's very affordable, right? So if you live in the city, right, you can rent a condo, or you can buy one of these condos. You don't want to rent it because it's going to cost you too much money, but you can buy a condo to live in. You can get a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom. A lot of them are studios, depending on how many people you have. If it's just you and your wife, if you have kids, that's this is just an option. You can actually get a condo. The Airbnbs here, most of them are those condos in the cities. And so a lot of people rent those out, and you could even do that if you have enough money to have a condo. So, or you can rent them out for $30 a day. That's what we did to live in or stay in. Or you can rent houses out. You can rent a house. You can rent a house for $100 to $300 a month. That's a nice house, finished house like this with aircon and water and everything you need, right there, finished house. And by the way, I told you I had a generator. In the city, they don't have as many brownouts as they do out here in the country. So, as you're weighing your things, city or country. So, what's the good news about living in the city? Everything's convenient. What's the bad news about living in the city? For me, it's a health issue because the air is really bad. The air quality in the cities is terrible. First of all, they have old diesel, so they're trying to get rid of the jeepneys, and they are phasing them out. You'll see less of them than you used to, because the diesel's so bad here, and it's really really polluted, especially in the cities. It's you can smell it. It's disgusting. It's a different kind of diesel than they use in the U.S., and they don't upkeep their engines, so there's a lot of black smoke and stuff everywhere. Also, when they burn garbage here, that's a normal thing they do. They do have trash pickup, but it's not consistent, and a lot of times they'll still burn garbage, and they burn plastic. They don't. It's like they're just not aware how bad it is, and it's really bad. And also, the sewage systems aren't always effective, so you get a lot of weird stuff in the air, and it stinks, and it's just so you know, I had asthma when I was a child. I hadn't just a sec. Hadn't had asthma since I was 7 years old. So I moved here, and I think I was 66 years old when I moved here. Um, Within a year, the asthma's back. So I have an inhaler now, and it flares up a couple times a year. Bad enough with all the humidity and everything, and all. But the city's really bad. I always get a touch. Not always. Many times I get a touch of asthma when I go to this city. I'm not gonna live. Plus, I've never really been a city boy. I'd rather be, like I said, I'm 20 minutes away from everything I need. Um, Ingo Oak City is a smaller town. It's not really a big city, but they have everything I need there. They have a Gaisano Mall, which has clothing, and mostly it has food. Our grocery, we buy most of our groceries there. There's two shopping centers there for groceries. There's a lot of appliance centers where you can buy your aircon and your TVs and everything. The furniture store, we really have to go to another city for that. It's about an hour away. But there's a McDonald's there. There's a Jollibee, which is like Philippine version of McDonald's. There's also a couple of really nice restaurants 20 minutes away, or I can go up in the hills. And about 40 minutes away, I have excellent restaurants, and there's a couple nice ones. So everything I need is 20 minutes away. There's a really good medical facility about 30 minutes from here. So everything you need is close, right? Plus I get to live in the country, so it's not as crowded and all that. So, and those are the options. You can rent a house. Like I said, you can rent a house, a nice house for 100 to 300 bucks is going to be a castle here. But for 100 bucks a month, you can rent a decent house. No, 200 bucks, I would say decent. 100 buck, okay. 50 bucks, Philippine style. Not finished, probably doesn't have aircon. But you can rent a house here. You can buy a house here. There are some nice houses that are in like housing projects here, even in this, usually in the city, not here, right here, where they'll just build a bunch of houses, and they're pretty decent houses. So you can build a house already made. You don't have to go through all the stress of time and everything, or you can build something. So those are your options for housing. I don't think I left anything out this time. This is the second time I've done the video because I left out the condo option. You can buy a condo, you can buy a house, you can rent a house, or you can build a house, just like in the U.S. Except the cost is going to be a lot less. You can build a decent house here for $50,000. You can build a decent house, and still, even with the COVID, depending on what you call decent, like this is a small house, about 1,200 square feet. You can build a bigger house, probably. If you spend $100,000, you can build a really nice house here. So it's a heck of a lot cheaper than the U.S. Um, you could build it cheaper too if you don't have any money and you're going to build it yourself. You could probably do it for $20,000, but it's not as nice. But depends on what you know how to do. I don't know how to do any of that stuff. Um, the building materials here aren't as good as the building materials in the U.S. So some people, if they really know what they're doing, and they will just ship the building materials here. I don't know what the cost is on that. I don't know what the cost is on the the import tax and all that. But there's different ways to do it. But I'm just telling you, this is my story. This is what I know. This is what I did. So God bless you guys. Ta ta for now.